Severe weather that caused a lot of damage from the east side to the west side, and it left thousands without power. Team coverage tonight. Jasmine Monroe talked to locals who've been without power for 24 hours now. But first, Matt Wintz joins us with the latest storm track. Matt, are we out of the woods?
Yeah, we're absolutely not. In fact, areas of northeast Ohio get nailed right now by some big storms. You can see where the severe thunderstorm warnings are right now. Areas in orange just allowed to expire for areas of Summit County, which got hit hard. But Portage County over towards Trumbull County, that's where they're getting hit hard. You can see the yellow box. That's where a severe thunderstorm watch is. Although I have a hunch that this might be a little bit too far west. Cleveland, I think we're going to be okay the rest of the evening, at least as it goes right now. Look at the storms that exploded. You mentioned how muggy it was outside. It is amazing how quickly our atmosphere recovered from those earlier storms. We shot up to 90. We've got the thick moisture in place, and these storms exploded. We've got storms right now heading out of Summit County, but down towards the Talmadge, Mogador area likely had a downburst. Hurricane-like conditions with this as it's pushing off towards the east along 76 through Portage County. Ravenna getting hit. This stretches into areas of Trumbull County as well. Hiram, some decent storms. Lots of lightning with this as it continues to head off towards the east. Primary threat from these storms, damaging winds once again. Bigger picture across the country. Storms active across Illinois. You can see how we're kind of filling in the blank here as that boundary continues to settle down to the south. We'll talk where the storms are expected the rest of the evening. We've got one more day of this tomorrow as well. We'll help you plan that out coming up in the forecast. Sarah?
Thank you, Matt. Lots going on, of course. And our team coverage continues now with Jasmine Monroe. And Jasmine, you spoke with people in Avon Lake who have been without power for more than 24 hours now.
Yeah, they are pretty much saying it's a headache. But, Sarah, we want to talk about what's live here right now in Lakewood. I just want to give you a live look at these three houses on the street, Spring Garden Avenue in Lakewood. Extensive damage to multiple houses on this street. Just pretty much at this point, no one can even go inside of their homes. The fire department has this blocked off. But nothing but a headache is how one resident described their day this afternoon. Trees toppled, power lines down. That was the scene in Avon and Avon Lake and Bay Village. More than 40,000 people in that area were without power and still without power. We got a chance to speak to Kyle Tim. He's been without power for more than 24 hours and had to work from his wife's grandmother's house. Kyle tells us the estimated time for the power to come back on is 10 p.m. on Friday.
I'm at my wife's grandma's sunroom in, I guess, southern Avon Lake. They didn't lose power, so we're kind of trying to navigate the best we can and stay connected with
Then we just locked the door. We put a big sign on there. We have no power, so, and it's a safety issue. We can't.
Now, that was Tom. He is the owner and operator of Bia Sweeties. They have been without power also as well. Just take a look inside of that store. You're looking at video right now of the freezer. 600 gallons of ice cream may be at risk of melting, Jay and Sara, if the power doesn't come back on. That's coming up at 6 o'clock. You have to see exactly what they're doing to work through this day. And the good news is the candy's still on the shelves, Sarah.
Wow, that's a lot of ice cream, Jasmine, and so many people without power. We are thinking of them tonight. Yeah. Thanks, Jasmine. Well, if you or anyone you know does not have power, you can let them know they can get constant updates on the outages and also the weather that's coming on the free WKYC app.
Well, first on your feed at 5 today, the latest on the coronavirus. And we saw a very slight decrease in cases over the last 24 hours across Ohio, but we still reported more than 3,200 new cases. It was a dip of just over 100 cases from yesterday's number, but still troubling.
Yeah, today's number is the second largest since February, just after yesterday. And earlier, the Ohio Department of Health spoke about the virus and how we're seeing numbers go in the wrong direction. There's also an increase in hospitalizations and the use of ventilators, too, across Ohio.
Laura Queso has been following it all. She joins us now on What's New. Laura, good afternoon to you. We also today heard from the CDC. What's new regarding the continued talk about this booster shot? We may need that third booster shot for those that had two already.
Right. So right now, the FDA is working with Moderna and Pfizer, both companies, for this booster shot that you speak of for those who are immunocompromised. Dr. Anthony Fauci today said there is no need for the general public to receive an additional vaccine right now, but does think they will be needed later down the road as they continue to evaluate Delta. Of course, day by day, we know so much is changing. Meantime, as Ohio continues to see cases increase, so does most of the rest of the U.S.
And now over 90% of counties in the United States are experiencing substantial or high transmission. As we have been saying, by far, those at highest risk remain people who have not yet been vaccinated.
A new study by the Mayo Clinic found after 6 months, the Pfizer vaccine was only 42% effective during the height of the Delta variant. That's compared to Moderna's at 76%. But researchers did find both vaccines still offer great protection against hospitalization and also death, which is something that we've been talking about a lot.
Yeah, still worth getting, of course. Laura, let's go back to the booster shots for a second. Now, you said the FDA is going to be working with the drug companies to figure out when immunocompromised people should get this shot. When will they know that it's the right time to go and get dose number 3?
So this vote is expected really any day now. We're learning that it could happen as early as tomorrow. This is basically a special advisory panel, and they're discussing it right now. But in the meantime, we're hearing growing numbers of reports of people getting that third dose by saying they haven't had the vaccine yet. So that just goes to show people are really desperate right now. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah, because I'm not sure, I'm not a scientist, but is it the same shot 3 times? Is it a different version? I'd be afraid to do that.
I think it's the same shot 3 times because it's the only one that's out there. But I would say, again, no doctor, no scientist. Wait, wait for everything.
Wait till you have that official recommendation.
Exactly.
It's a good plan. Okay, Laura, thanks.
Hey, thanks.
Well, the U.S. is becoming a more diverse country and Ohio a more diverse state. That's what new detailed data released by the U.S. Census Bureau this afternoon shows, kicking off the process to redraw congressional districts around the country.
We're getting our first look at the numbers collected in last year's census, showing who we are and where we live down to the city block.
You know, the districts that we draw using the census data will shape our lives. And I don't think that that's an overstatement.
It shows America and Ohio are becoming more diverse, thanks in part to better questions on that census form. While Columbus was one of 14 cities showing explosive growth, Cleveland is still shrinking. The city lost about 24,000 residents and will lose 2 city council seats in 2025 from 17 to 15. Ohio also loses a seat in the U.S. House next year as the data shapes voting districts for the next decade.
If you're counted, you count. And our whole message to people was, let's not be invisible anymore, right?
Global Cleveland was one of hundreds of organizations targeting hard-to-reach communities across Northeast Ohio. President Joe Simperman.
So what I say to people who are born in the U.S., people who are native born, thank an immigrant for having a bigger voice in Congress for the state of Ohio.
Do you trust this data?
I think to be seen.
The pandemic impacted how the count was collected and delayed the results for months. Now, Daniel Ortiz with Policy Matters Ohio will do a deep dive to be sure these numbers reflect our neighborhoods.
For Ohio, you know, billions of dollars every year are coming here based on the data that's gathered in the census.
Representation matters, and you can still speak up as the redistricting process begins.
Contact your local elected leaders and, you know, share your concerns, because these maps, they have to represent all of us, and that means you. And making sure that your voice is heard in this process is critical.
It is critical. And the powerful Ohio Redistricting Commission is going to hold 9 public meetings with these state legislative maps. They start a little later this month, so we'll keep you updated on those. There are no proposed new maps just yet, Jay, and we're talking state, House, and Senate, as well as, of course, the new congressional map for the Ohio House.
Right.
And then the city, even the county council could change because of these numbers. So there's a lot that's going to come when you think of that word, you know, redistricting, and all of it's sort of under a time crunch because we usually get this data in the spring. It's 4 months delayed because of the pandemic and putting it all together, and there's still more to become. So what's usually done in months is going to be done in weeks, maybe days.
I remember pre-census, we were trying to stress the importance of fill these out because they are so important. You were telling me during your piece, not only has Cleveland lost 24,000 residents in the decade that was just measured, Columbus grew by over 100,000 residents. That's stunning to me.
There were only 14 cities in the country that grew quite that much. So it is impressive in terms of the state and probably helped keep the state's numbers a little more even.
Yeah, I mean, it's stunning that Columbus grew by that much, but the state lost population.
Well, the state grew population just by 2%, though.
Lost its percentage of the United States.
Correct. Yes, just grew in a smaller way than other states did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy. It really is. Well, the Feast of the Assumption is back. Just like almost every other event, it was canceled last year because of COVID. The festival began today. On Sunday, there will be a mass celebrating the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, followed by a procession throughout the neighborhood. The 4-day event also features various Italian foods, desserts, live music, and, of course, rides. We have all the details on our website, WKYC.com, if you're looking to go out there for some fun things to do. And if the weather holds, and that's a big if because it's been so tumultuous this week, but if it holds and things are nice tomorrow, I'm going to be live at the feast along with Mike Polk, and we're going to be talking about the history of the festival and also a new restaurant in the Little Italy neighborhood that I visited just a couple of weeks ago. It's a fabulous place. And we're going to talk about the church's effort to bring in younger members. We know that the Catholic Church has really struggled in recent years to maintain members, and particularly to grow the church.
Yeah.
And that young demographic is one that they're really focusing on now.
Right. And this, of course, we think of all the food, but the event, the feast really does come back to that and that Catholic holiday. So, yeah. Wow.
I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
All right, coming up next on What's New, cashing in on credit card perks. Why more and more companies are changing the way they attract customers to sign up and even continue banking with them.
And then a heartfelt return. We'll get an update on Nightbird, the Ohio singer who stole all of our hearts on America's Got Talent. Here what Simon Cowell says to Jane Marchevsky as her cancer battle continues.
And Matt, the Weather Center has really been humming the last, 24 hours or so. It's been a busy time for you guys over here.
Our power bill is going to be through the roof over here. We've got so many things plugged in. Outdoor dining forecast, not great if you're in Trumbull County, still under severe thunderstorm warning. Elsewhere, we're dealing with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temps cooling down back into the 70s this evening, but you might want to keep it inside. We've got a latest look at the radars, your severe thunderstorm warnings, and what tomorrow and the weekend have in store on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to What's New. So when was the last time you got a new credit card? It doesn't happen too often, but folks open them from time to time. Right now, companies are working extra hard, Sarah. They're not only working hard to attract new customers into their companies, but they're also working very hard to keep their existing clients.
Yes, because people haven't been using those cards as much as they thought. So competition is huge among banks since there's this post-vaccination explosion of spending now. So credit card companies are offering record sign-up bonuses and other perks to attract spenders. There are deals like getting hundreds in cash back and point offers for airline miles and hotels. But before you switch companies or sign up, here's what you need to think about. Know the perks you will use the most. That can help you decide. Also look at how much the annual fee is and watch for minimum spend requirements to earn those rewards. You want to check out sites like LendingTree, NerdWallet, or the Points Guy to help you compare card benefits and fees. But remember, applying and opening new cards can affect your credit score. So you want to be smart about when you find the right offer, choosing maybe just that one.
Yeah. This ultimately is a good thing for consumers because competition.
You got to use it to your advantage. You know, my husband gets so annoyed because I'll be like, wait, are you putting that on the right card? You know, so you get the restaurant points on this one or the travel points on that one. As long as you pay it off, you get the benefit.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's when the credit card companies win.
Yeah, I know. That's the key. That revolving debt can be so troublesome because it's a hole that sometimes you can't dig out of.
And it's not worth these extra bonus points or miles or any of that.
Yeah, no. So if you have one and you use it smartly.
Yes.
Please.
Please.
All right. Speaking of using it smartly, I know that Matt uses that equipment so smartly every day. He's over there crunching numbers. There's I think there's 1 million buttons over there. I try not to walk over there, Sarah.
I know,
just for fear I'm going to mess it all up.
We stay on this side of the newsroom for a reason. They got special technology we don't even know about, Matt.
I clean this stuff a lot. You'd be surprised, especially when Betsy's on vacation. I vacuum the weather center for her return. You know.
Yeah, keep it
use
spiffy.
the pledge on everything.
Very good. She appreciates it, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. You know, guys, we still have some rough weather across portions of the viewing area. Boy, this just exploded so quickly as expected this afternoon. We were talking about earlier today, there was nothing on radar, and a lot of producers were saying, Matt, do you want to do weather first? And it's completely clear blue outside. But looking at some of the model runs and just looking at how things were behaving, we knew it was like a powdered keg, just ready to go, and that's certainly what has happened. This is going to be mainly out towards the east. Cleveland, I don't think we get much. We'll talk about that in a second, but right now, Trumbull County getting hit pretty hard. These storms are decent. I mean, they are putting down some really strong wind, very heavy rain, even some hail, and look how quickly they popped. That atmosphere got rained on this morning. Typically, it'll wash everything out. Instability is low after that, but no, we bounced back so quickly. This is southeastern areas of Portage County right now. You can see lots of lightning with this cell as it continues to move right along 76 as you get into areas of near Warren and Youngstown eventually. Trumbull County getting hit hard. I took the lightning off because there's so much lightning you can't see the towns here. But Cortland along Route 11, they're about to get some very heavy rain. We've seen gusty winds at the onset of this as well. That's through Warren. It's getting out towards the east. Kinsman even going to get clipped along Route 87 there on the northern half of the county. Bigger picture, though, what happens the rest of the evening? I know everyone's asking that. This is not what happened last night. We saw those storms yesterday developed in Chicago. They traveled and formed a big line that just marched through the area. This is the Chicago of yesterday. So things are developing now. This will likely become a big cluster that rakes areas along the Turnpike in Pennsylvania. So they'll get from this what we got last night. So we turn off towards the west. Not much going on. Storm down towards Columbus, but Matt Standridge and I have been keeping a real close eye on the cloud development here. There's nothing doing right now, but we, again, with the atmosphere that we have to keep our eye on some of these cumulus clouds because they can quickly go up and become thunderstorms. But as of now, it looks fairly quiet for the rest of the evening. Again, we'll keep an eye on it. The storm down towards the south, another big cluster in Illinois, that's spreading clouds our way. Clouds have a stabilizing effect to the atmosphere, so that should help kind of qualm things a little bit as we go throughout the evening, something to keep an eye on. We talk about this boundary for the last week and a half, right? Well, what is it? We've got that steamy air coming out of the Gulf. You can see this mid-level low pressure we have up towards the north. All that comes together, and every single day you get these explosive thunderstorms that go away, and then the atmosphere recharges on that southerly wind. That's exactly what we have going on today. Temperatures, we've got heat outside of that. You know that. Where we had the rain, we're in the 70s, 80s to near 90 degrees elsewhere. Our hot spots have been down to the south because that humidity is laying on real thick once again. Another very humid day. Look at the heat indice in Canton right now. 106 is the feels like temperature. So dangerous heat outside of these storms that help to cool us down. As a result, heat advisory remains in effect for much of the viewing area. That goes through 8 o'clock tonight. Storms move out with your National Zymarn hour-by-hour forecast. This model keeps us dry for most of the overnight. It will be muggy. Tomorrow, I think our severe threat shifts south, but we're still going to have some rain in the forecast as it looks right now, and that rain eventually will shift even further south and will dry things out. Saturday, Sunday still looking great around here. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Rain tomorrow, 84 degrees for a high. Gradual clearing Saturday, falling humidity. Sunday, picture perfect. And then next week, we're still talking the tropics. We'll talk more about this in the next half hour. Tropics, always something. Jay?
All right, Matt, thank you very much. We're going to take a break. When we come back, breaking news on the Britney Spears conservatorship. That's next.
Welcome back to What's New. Time now for your daily pop break.
We have some breaking news. TMZ reporting that Britney Spears' dad, Jamie, will step down as her conservator. According to legal documents, he wants to work on an orderly transition. The documents go on to say that regardless of his formal title, he will always be Britney's dad and will look out for her best interests.
A lot of interest in that one. We'll keep you updated. Also tonight, Friends stars Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer are reacting following the reunion special that came out earlier this year that they were both admitted they had feelings for each other during some of the early filmings of the hit TV show. Well, now rumors have been going around on the web saying the two are dating right now, but they both denied that claim to several media outlets, saying they are not romantically involved. So sorry, Rachel and Ross fans, they are literally just friends.
I think that was wishful reporting.
Maybe.
On the case of some reporters. Closer to home, country music star Luke Bryan. How about this? was in Northeast Ohio yesterday. He headed to Huron and went to the Riverview Lanes bowling alley. He was there with his family in order to celebrate his youngest son Tate's 11th birthday. They also went to Cedar Point. Brian stopped and took pictures with fans who've been posting these pictures all over social media.
Fun to run into him.
Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's all right.
Who can forget this incredible performance? That's Zanesville's Jane Marchewski on America's Got Talent, who got the golden buzzer earlier this season. She dropped out of the competition last week to focus on her cancer battle, but the singer, known as Nightbird, made a return to the show last night virtually to check in with the judges and America.
It's beautiful to see the world welcome that song into their own dark night, and I'm overwhelmed by it.
Thank you so much for auditioning on the show and for singing such a beautiful song. And you know, it was.
We love you. There is a GoFundMe to help pay for Jane's cancer treatments that has already raised more than $456,000. We do have a link to that on WKNYC.com and our 3 News app.
She looks good.
She does.
And she seems to be in good spirits.
Yes, and she says she is writing her future, not her legacy.
Which
so
I loved.
I
Yeah,
loved hearing that. That gives us a lot of hope for her. But it's a journey, you know.
It is.
And so I'm glad to see that America is supporting her, and we know AGT is too.
Yeah, the amount from the GoFundMe page, it just goes to show so many times when there is someone in need, our country stands up and we rally around, and it's nice that we're so willing to lend a helping hand when someone who is in need reaches out.
And she seems so humble too.
She really does.
Yeah.
Beautiful voice, beautiful gift. We're pulling for her.
Well, next year on What's New, inflation has taken a big jump this summer as the economy tries to rebound from the pandemic. What items have seen the largest price hike? Coming up.
Plus, no vaccine, no concert. We'll tell you the latest ban to mandate that its fans be vaccinated before showing up for their gig.
And the iconic Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield will soon be featured on a special TV channel. We'll tell you where and when, coming up on Clicking in Cleveland.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And we begin at 5:30 with 3 things you need to know. First up, today the Ohio Department of Health gave an update on COVID-19 in the state. The state's chief medical officer, Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff, said our hospitals are seeing an increase now in hospitalizations, ICU admissions, as well as ventilators in use. The increases are being attributed to the Delta variant. Today, the state reporting 3,272 new cases. And while that is a slight dip of around 100 cases from yesterday, it is still our second highest daily number since February. It also bumps up our 21-day average now to just above 1,500. 130 new patients were admitted to Ohio hospitals.
We are getting our first look at last year's census data, and it shows America and Ohio are becoming more diverse, partly because of new and better questions on the census form that hopefully you too filled out last year. But the population decline trend continues for Cleveland. The city lost about 24,000 residents, which means it will lose 2 city council seats starting in 2025. However, Columbus is one of 14 cities across the country showing big growth, adding at least 100,000 residents in the last decade. Overall, Ohio is growing slower than other places around the country and will lose a seat in the U.S. House next year.
Severe weather is still causing problems for residents across Northeast Ohio. 3,000 First Energy customers still without power in Lorain County. 26,000 are still without power in Cuyahoga County. One of those customers is Tom Scheiman, who owns B.A. Sweetie Company, a candy shop. He is at risk, Sarah, of losing 600 gallons of ice cream if the power doesn't come on there soon. That's tragic. I mean, obviously the financial loss for him, 600 gallons of ice cream. And we're keeping our fingers crossed, Tom, that that power comes on and that ice cream can be saved.
So many people at home still dealing with it today, and we have more storms in our area as well.
We do, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Welcome back to the second half hour of What's New on this happy Friday Eve. Quick Indians update for you. Blasted today. 17-0 losers today to Oakland. It feels like the season got away very quickly. Yeah, very quickly. Along with Sarah Shookman, I'm Jay Crawford.
Yeah, good to be here with you again.
Good to have you in. Our top talker here at 5:30. We talked about how prices on just about everything are going up, and we really have been talking about that, Sarah, for the last 3 or 4 months. Here's a number that demonstrates just how much these prices are increasing. The Consumer Price Index rose 5.4% in July of 2021. This compared to prices in July of 2020. Check out these prices. A gallon of milk now costs $3.02. A year ago, it was $2.15. Everything's up. A dozen eggs is up. Chicken breasts are up. But no one is seeing the price increase more than those filling up at the tank. National average for a gallon now $3.18. A year ago, it was $2.17 a gallon. So prices are up 33% at the pump alone. Yeah. It's stunning.
Yeah, I have certainly noticed it filling up the gas tank. It just is so expensive every time you're on E. And also at the grocery store a little bit. And I don't think I noticed, those individual items, but when you get to the checkout and it's a lot more than you were expecting. Yeah. One thing I know has gone up for any other moms in this stage right now, diapers. Yeah. Diapers, and you go through them so fast when they're little, and those have gotten pricey.
Very expensive. Just about everything. I like to work with wood. Before I might spend $50 to $75 on wood for a project. Now that's anywhere from $100 to $125. Yep. I'm told those prices are coming down soon. They're still selling lumber that they purchased when futures prices were sky high. Okay. But everything you buy, it's more expensive.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
All across the board.
Here's what CNBC's senior personal finance correspondent said about the current inflation.
People are experiencing inflation firsthand because they know that their paycheck isn't going as far as it did a couple months ago even.
Yeah, I mean, you mention it, you see it at the grocery store, you see it. And the other thing, too, is, and this really factors in, because for most people, the bulk of their income goes towards their housing costs and their transportation costs. And we've been talking nonstop for really the last 9 months about how housing costs are skyrocketing. If you're buying a home right now and you're entering the market for the first time and you're not seeing that big payday from the equity of a recent sale, it's really difficult for first-time
buyers. People have
buyers.
been outpriced in neighborhoods and, you know, across the board, they're overpaying for houses over asking price. So, yeah, I mean, you think about the bulk of your money going towards that and then any purchases you are making. I think there was some pent-up demand for this when we were all staying home.
For sure.
So you want to sort of get out there and be able to enjoy things again, but it's something we're all watching and is expected to increase.
Yeah, a lot of new money into the economy with all the stimulus payments, and that also helps drive prices of everything up, and that's what we're seeing.
Well, here's another story gaining traction tonight. Maroon 5 announced today that starting August 16th, fans who are attending any of their shows will need to present a negative COVID test within 48 hours of that show or show proof of vaccination to get in. The band tweeted, "Safety is their top priority." And Jay, the band is scheduled to play at Blossom on Wednesday, August 25th. So they are coming this way. A lot of you probably have tickets for that show. Now this is a consideration.
Yeah, I'm going to Bash on the Bay at Put in Bay, same day, August 25th and 26th. It's a 2-day show. And I'm starting to think that it won't be long before I hear that you'll also have to show proof of vaccination to get into that show. They haven't announced that yet, but you kind of, it seems like that's where we're going now.
Yeah,
really
well, it's
does.
interesting that this is driven by the band, not the venue.
So too.
You know, because we're talking about their show at Blossom. I'm going to a show at Blossom in early September, Alanis Morissette, and I haven't heard anything like that. So I wonder if other artists will ask for this, and that will be then left on the venues to carry out.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting how this all plays out too.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll let you know whenever any of these changes happen. We'll certainly pass them along to you. Well, next, he made his first Olympic run in Tokyo. Now Reggie Jagers is back home. In fact, he sat down and chatted with my son, Corey, who happens to be a very good friend of his, to talk about his Olympic experience and what's ahead for his future.
And then you can cash in Cedar Point's Gold Pass. We'll give you all the details ahead in Clicking in Cleveland. But first, let's check in with Matt again for Weather in a Jiffy.
Yeah, our weather in the Jiffy today, Sarah, I think we can all feel like this turtle at the bottom of the aquarium where the water's pouring in because it is just humid outside. You're either getting rained on, number one, or, yeah, you're just soaked in the humidity. There are some changes this weekend. You are going to love the forecast. We just have to get there first. We'll bring it to you and talk more storms coming up.
I do. Yes, today what's clicking in Cleveland is Cedar Point saying, let's have a mulligan and do this again. Cool.
Matt, we are all just loving this weather in a jiffy that you have added new this week while I'm here filling in for Betsy, who's off. And this one today, I feel is very accurate to see that little turtle flipping around because we're all sort of just lost and confused and soaked.
Right. And even as meteorologists, this has been one of the most challenging weeks of my 14, 15-year career so far.
Really?
Is that, yeah, the models just have, usually we use model guidance for help. I mean, it tells us where it thinks storms are going to fire or go. And when you have so much deep tropical moisture that we have and so much heat, they tend to not do a good job at all. So they have not nailed it at all. And so it's really up to our thinking and experience to figure out where these storms are going to fire. And so far, so good. But the lead time on these, sorry, everybody, has been about 6 to 8 hours. So not usually, you know, that's that near term, so to speak. Weekend looks great. I can tell you that from here on out. But in terms of storm chances tonight, we're going to keep our eye on some stuff to the west. Good news, Northeast Ohio, we are now severe weather clear as of right now. The Weather Service still has that severe thunderstorm watch out. That goes till 10 this evening. So I think they're thinking too, we need to keep our eye on some stuff to the west. But right now it has quieted out. This will become a big cluster that is just going to plow through areas of Pennsylvania, likely damaging winds. It's heading out of Trumbull County now. Youngstown getting hit hard, but that is now eastbound. What we turn our eyes to, still very unstable. We've had lots of sunshine. You just need a little poof in the atmosphere to get these storms going. You can see a couple little specks showing up there. We'll have to see how these behave. We've had, you know, obviously the rough hit in Trumbull County, areas near Andover, Williamsfield getting hit hard with some lightning and heavier rain. Most of it pushing out of Trumbull County. Vienna, you're starting to clear on out. That extends down towards the south near Hubbard. Keeping my eye on this. This doesn't look like much in Geauga County, but they can go from not a lot to a lot in a hurry. This is along a lake breeze boundary, though, so I don't think that gets going a whole lot more. And then obviously keeping our eyes out towards the west. You see a couple little pop-ups there. These can go in a hurry. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Bulk of the activity down to the south and heading off towards the east. Bigger picture, we've got more storms back down towards areas of Illinois. We're going to see the clouds off of that. So everyone will see a high cloud shield work in tonight from that, but this boundary remains in place. Tropical air all the way up to the Canadian border. Look where that changes, though. Minneapolis now much more comfortable air. That will sink in here tomorrow. It will drive more storms in the forecast, and then we'll clear things out. Where you don't have the rain, it is just steamy. It continues to lay on thick. Dew points well up into the 70s. This is more humid than Florida. I've been saying that all week. Look at the feels like temperatures up over the triple digits in spots. For that reason, we have a heat advisory when you're not getting the rain. Dangerous heat. I mean, you don't mess around with heat any time of the year. Tropical depression Fred, not looking very impressive at all. Winds at 35. This system is expected to head up through Florida. Hurricane Center has actually lowered those winds as expected here over the course of the weekend, but you can see the timing on that Monday, Gulf Coast. Tuesday, it's getting closer. We may get some moisture off of Fred Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, and it looks to interact with a frontal boundary. National Design Mart, day by day, a forecast. You can see how this boundary remains in place. More rain tomorrow. I think we lower the severe threat tomorrow. We push it all south Saturday, Sunday. That is looking pretty, and you're going to like the dew points as well. We go from this, what we have today, down towards the comfortable category. Open up the windows kind of weather this weekend. Union Home Mortgage, 7-day forecasts. We'll go 84 tomorrow with more rain and storms. Again, I think the severe threat would be further south tomorrow. 77 beautiful degrees on Saturday. We'll see some clouds still hanging around. And then next week, some moisture from Fred on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But much quieter next week comparatively. I think Betsy's back. Good timing as well, Jay.
Yeah, this is a well-planned vacation for her. The timing was perfect. All right, Matt, thank you very much. Well, time to see right now what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we say hello to our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, a very happy Thursday afternoon.
Happy Thursday to you, Jay, and to everyone at home. Now, this Thursday is a very important day for getting money to our local teachers and schools because today only, Microsoft founder Bill Gates is matching donations by half on the website Donors Choose. That means if you donate $10, Gates will chip in $5, making the total donation $15, so lots of impact there. Now, this is a crowdfunding website where teachers can post their projects on supply lists and a dollar amount, and then ask for public donations to help fund those things. In the Cleveland Metropolitan School District alone, there are 232 options. Go to WKYC.com for the link if you'd like to donate to a teacher or a school in your district. Okay, today Cedar Point is saying, let's try this again, shall we? That $99 deal for its Gold Pass is back for the 2022 season. It gives you access to Cedar Point and Cedar Point Shores for the entire season with an earlier open time and all kinds of discounts in the parks. And just like last time, if you buy it now, you get the rest of the 2021 season for free. Now, this price is only good through Labor Day. After that, the price is expected to go up, so you might want to move quickly on that one. And as we approach spooky season, the Ohio State Reformatory is getting featured on the Travel Channel again. You may know it as the Mansfield Reformatory or the Shawshank Prison. It's thought to be one of the most haunted places in Ohio, so that's why Tanner Wiseman and the team behind Destination Fear are going there to carry out what they are calling a diabolical fear experiment. Very serious there. So the episode airs Saturday, August 14th at 9 p.m. Again, a few hours later at 1 a.m., Jay and Sara, in case you want your spookiness at night.
Sure. It's elevated for the 1 a.m. viewing.
Sure, yeah. You know, they've got the haunted house there, too. I can do a haunted house, but these true-to-life haunted stories, I'm going to tap out on that one.
Diabolical, you said?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't need that level of fear in my life.
I'll tell you, the architecture and just the exterior of that building is beautiful. But when you see the interiors, you get a little creeped out because you just know there's got to be some bad karma in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I'll be catching the Cliff Notes on this one.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Steph.
Stephanie.
Still ahead, Reggie Jagers is back home after his Olympic run in Tokyo. He talked with my son Corey, they're good friends, about that experience and what's next for him.
And then this little boy should win Brother of the Year. His love for his baby sister is our Show Us Something Good.
With the Tokyo Games just recently completed, a lot of our Northeast Ohio Olympians have made it back to the Cleveland area, and we thought it would be a good time to catch up with them to see what their experience was like. My son Corey also in Cleveland this week, so we tabbed him with a special assignment.
That's right, Dad. I had a chance to sit down with Reggie Jagers, and he just competed in the discus throw in the Olympic Games, and we had a chance to sit down and talk about what's next for him and his experience at the Games.
I would say it's been a long journey, and it's been pretty tough.
Reggie Jagers has been on a journey to the Tokyo Games since before we met at the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista, California, back in 2017. I was training in the long jump and Reggie was training in the discus, and over the last year, we had to adapt when everything shut down during COVID. Reggie was able to overcome a pectoral injury, a labrum injury. This year has really been a tumultuous year for both of us.
When I finally became an Olympian, it was kind of like still that 1%er type of goal that's so hard to obtain, but it's not the norm either for even people who look like me, in throwing especially. I kind of feel like that's a major accomplishment. I was able to make it to the Olympic team.
Reggie has competed at every level in his sport, from high school in Solon to college at Kent State and on to the World Championships.
But all roads led him to Tokyo.
What was it like to put on the USA jersey and to represent our country at the Olympic Games?
Yeah, so especially coming from Solon and the Cleveland area, it's kind of like people are more surprised. They're like, we thought you were good, but we didn't know how good you were. And I kind of just love the support, love the people locking in with you on the journey. That's why when we were even out there, I was recording stuff because we can't have spectators there. My family wasn't there. So I want to make sure that everyone who supports me and who can see me competing.
Unfortunately, Reggie did not qualify for the discus finals and did not get a chance to compete for a medal.
So you have to try and, do it the best you can. And I feel like I did. I could have did a lot better in the meet at certain situations, but I also gave my all this whole season, like legit. So I was just more proud about the season progression. I'm like, whatever you did at the Olympics, you wish you would have did better, but you really overcame a lot of things that would have made people retire.
And I think, you're young and you're going to get healthy. That's the biggest thing. And, you're going to be back for Paris. You're going to be back for Paris. And there's world championship teams.
Got to just keep moving on. And I feel like that's the Midwest pride that I bring to it. Like no matter what's going on, you got to try and make a way. If it's snowing outside, you got to go up, 3 feet of snow. Still got to go to school, still got to go practice. So, I just was proud of myself that I even got to this point this season.
But Reggie says his Olympic experience also has him thinking about his original dream, and that's to one day play in the NFL.
I'm very goal oriented. So I got to make one goal and I got to complete it and I can move on. So I said I wanted to become an Olympian, and then you could just think about the NFL if you want, because you could use that status to, possibly open up eyes to show your potential in another sport. And if you look for the opportunities, you find solutions. So that's always been find a little quote, look for opportunity, you find solutions. Look for problems, you find more problems. So I'm trying to look for opportunity.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Wow.
I mean, he really is a physical specimen.
Yeah.
I think that would be a difficult challenge for Reggie because he didn't play in college, so it'd be very difficult to try to now crack an NFL roster. But I'm not going to bet against him. He works very hard. And really, over the last 4 years, I've watched Reggie and Corey were training together at the Olympic Training Center in California, and they've been on this track, and they've each had ups and downs along the way. It's very emotional. So proud that he made the Olympic team. So happy for him personally and his family in Solon that watched every second of all of his competitions. And good luck to him moving forward. And if you noticed, Corey in the piece was repping his Rutgers track and field shirt.
Oh, yeah.
His next step in his journey is he's accepted the jumps job. So he is now a track and field coach at his alma mater, Rutgers.
Congratulations, Corey.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
We're happy for him, and good luck to Cor and to Reggie and all of our local Olympians. In fact, coming up at 6 o'clock, Katie Najat back in Cleveland. We're going to hear from her coming up in just a little bit.
You stole my thunder.
I know.
You that in just a second.
I just realized we're going to double tease that.
No, it's been so exciting to see their journey. So thank you, Jay, and thank you, Corey, for sharing.
Coming up next on What's New, this little boy absolutely loves being a big brother. This video will warm your heart. What he does when he finds out his baby sister is awake from her nap. It's our Show Us Something Good.
And then on What Matters Most at 6, Jay just said it, our hometown hero is here. We catch up with Olympic gold medalist at the Olmsted Falls native, Katie Najat, after her run in Tokyo. That is coming up.
Today is Vinyl Record Day. I didn't know that was a thing. So we're asking you, how many vinyl records have been purchased so far this year? Is it 6.5 million, 10.6 million, or 19.5 million? Think about that, Sarah, as we hit the break, and we'll give you the answer on the other side.
You do? Hey, yeah, I have you, David. Is it possible to pop me, or am I too late? Struggle.
Out which one of these piles is my 6 o'clock scripts?
But.
And that would be this pile. Okay.
Thanks, David.
All right, before the break, we asked how many vinyl records have been sold in the U.S. this year. And Sarah, you want to make a guess here?
I'm going to go 19.2.
Yeah, you're smart.
They're popular.
They are. They're big.
Record Store Day is huge.
Yeah.
People are loving it.
According to Yahoo News, they're actually outpacing CD sales.
Wow.
Now, CDs are kind of the old thing
nobody's
now,
buying a CD.
and records are new again. But I love this stat. Between 2013 and 2020, vinyl sales have increased threefold.
I think that's about when Record Store Day became popular. I know we covered it this year on the 7 of the current year over in Parma. Lots of places to check out good records around. All right, time now for our Show Us Something Good. You never know how an older sibling is going to react to a new baby. Well, that didn't seem to be a problem for 5-year-old Hudson and his baby sister, Harlow.
Aww.
Hey, Hud. What? Harlow's awake? Harlow!
Hudson runs up the stairs, look at him go, to give his new baby sister, oh, here he comes, a big hug and a kiss.
That's just adorable.
His mom says Hudson can't wait for his little sister to wake up from her nap every day.
They're going to be
love that.
lifelong best friends, you can
Yes.
just tell.
That's
That's
so
pretty
great.
cool. We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then.
Yeah, Jay's jumping in with Laura for what matters most right now.
Severe weather impact. Thunderstorms left behind a trail of tree damage and power outages across Northeast Ohio, with the potential for more severe weather on the way. We'll have